Oh man, yo, it's looking bad. The Oscar Conceicao robbery continues. We gotta talk about it. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego in the back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Listen, it goes a long way when you guys hit the like, so make sure you guys hit the like button. Oh, say it ain't so. Canelo's gym, Robeson, Conceicao, Oscar Valdez. A lot of people talking about the outcome. Listen, I wasn't a fan of this fight pushing forward for many reasons that I declared on my channel, because on my channel, I like to stand for something. So I wasn't interested in this fight, and I didn't want to support it in real time because of they allowed a person to fail a drug test, yet break the rules and continue to fight. And I don't think that's something that should become a standard. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest. So I wasn't okay with that. But during the fight, during my blackout, I was doing other things. And people told me I need to kick the fight on. And once I did that and I watched a couple rounds, and then now I went back and watched the fight because I have ESPN Plus. And it is apparent that Oscar Valdez got a gift, and the commentary was way off the mark. For whatever reason, the commentators seemed very pro Oscar Valdez in the whole situation. I thought the whole situation stunk. Again, you have a man who shouldn't even be fighting, who's getting the fight with amphetamine in his system in training camp. They had never really had a patsy or alibi that worked as to why it was in his system, and yet and still they push forth. So to have this type of performance, this was a huge L for the sport of boxing, but more importantly, Oscar Valdez, his career. Now, if you look at what you see online, which I'm gonna get to, I wanna talk about something that's near and dear to my heart in the sport of boxing. So I made this tweet and I posed this question to all that follow me. Make sure you guys follow me at Boxingego on Twitter. I said, notice how darker complected fighters, black fighters, Afro-Cuban, Brazilian, etc., get labeled runners and marathon travelers even when it doesn't apply and when it doesn't fit to the given situation. So I posed some questions. Why did the runner outland Valdez? Why did the runner make Valdez's face and the scar tissue break up in his face, and his face looked crazy at the end of the fight like Freddy Krueger? Why did the runner look very calm? He looked so calm and poised and doing bolo punches and moving about, and he was showboating. So these are questions that boxing has to answer. Now, Canelo, the next day, he did make a post, and this is all he posted. It's a couple shots from the fight, him screaming, and he says, with much respect, Oscar, and then he put the Mexico flag. So you can see the play from Canelo's team, Eddie Reynoso and Canelo. Payday, you want payday? I know that. When serious questions are being posed and leveraged against Canelo and his team, that's the go-to play. Don't answer the questions, don't speak to the accusations, and just bang and put a Mexico flag and leave the people clueless. Similarly, Devin Haney says that he believes that Eddie Reynoso's gym is totally on that stuff. They on that ish, PEDs, right? Eddie Reynoso says no hater, no life, and he put the Mexico flag. I think it's about time that boxing fans stand for something and ask the serious questions, right? You also see Oscar Valdez. He says, and still, Puro Nogales, Mexico flag. Now, it's great to be prideful from where you're from, but serious questions still need to be asked. Just because you put the Mexico flag as like a dog whistle, that doesn't mean you're above criticism, right? People still want answers to the questions that they have. These questions would be like, how did you win the fight? Why did your face look like this post-fight? You know, simply not answering these questions. And why are PEDs in your system? Where did it come from? How are you going to clear your name? These things. Why does his face look like this? Just like I said in my earlier tweet, I told you I'm the best at this. Smash the like button because I'm the best at this. I'm the best on the map. I'm the best on the atlas. I'm the best at this. When it comes to this boxing, like and subscribe. How come darker complected fighters are typically treated a certain way in the sport of boxing, and you have a fighter who's saying his opponent, Robson Conceicao, ran? Why does your face look like this, sir? Simply having the Mexico flag or Canelo, your big bro, and then putting the Mexico flag and say with much pride doesn't answer these questions. So let's keep going. Another thing is Compubox. I don't use Compubox as the end all be all in boxing. Sometimes it doesn't necessarily indicate what you're seeing. However, in this given situation, I want to say that Compubox aligns very well with what happened. And I'll have you guys know that Oscar Valdez, in a 12-round championship fight, in 11 of those rounds, he was outpunched. In 11 out of 12 rounds, right? So I'm not going to read all of them. You guys can see. I'll probably try to post this on Twitter. So follow me on Twitter if you want to see the actual spreadsheet from Compubox. These are total punches landed, right? Round 1, Valdez 7 punches out of 28. Conceicao 9 out of 37. So that means he threw more and he landed more. Round 2, Valdez 4. Conceicao 14 landed. And he threw more. 50 versus 28. So he more than doubled your output and he more than doubled the amount landed. So it's ironic to me that judges gave any rounds of the first 4 or 5 rounds to Valdez, because as the stats show, and if you watch the fight, Conceicao was off to a sharp start, right? But yet and still, somehow, some way, judges gave Conceicao less credit for his work and Valdez a ton of credit, which led to 117 to 110, which is a horrible scorecard. And now you have Mexican legends like Eric Morales saying it was a robbery. Oh man, this is bad. Round 3, Valdez landed 6 through 31. Again, Conceicao landed 13, so more than double, and he threw 58 versus Valdez's 27 or 31, excuse me. Same thing in round 14. Valdez landed 7 through 31. More than doubled for Conceicao, 15 and 57. So that means you're very well getting outboxed. You're very well getting outboxed and you're getting out hustled and outworked. Ironically enough, even though Conceicao in 11 out of 12 rounds, and just so you guys know, the only round 7 where the Compubox numbers were even were this round. Round 7, they both landed 7. But yet again, Conceicao threw 47 versus Oscar Valdez, who threw 29. So 11 other rounds, the stats look very similar. So explain how Oscar Valdez won the fight. Like, make this make sense for the King ego. So you're saying Oscar Valdez, like the commentary, they were saying, oh, Conceicao lost it. He needs to do more. He's giving away the fight. How is he giving away the fight, but he's still outlanding and outthrowing and outworking and outvoluming Valdez? They're saying, oh, he's fighting like he's in survival mode. How is he in survival mode, but his foe and his rival, their face looks chewed up at the end of the fight? See, this is what I'm talking about. This is what you see for certain fighters. Just like I told you in my tweet. darker complected fighters, they get this stigma put on them that they're running and they're yellow belly and they're coward and they're just merely trying to survive. How does this indicate somebody who's trying to survive when you're out throwing, outlanding, you're styling on your opponent because you're showboating and, you know, having fun? And there was one moment he did a Mayweather where Oscar punched and he looked into the crowd like this, right? So you're doing all these things, which is part of what you score in boxing, ring generalship. So the bottom line and the point I'm making is, how does any of this indicate what they're telling you it indicates on the commentary? Like, oh, he's giving away the fight. Oh, he's letting it all go. How is he doing any of these things? How is he in survival mode? But the status of his opponent's face looks like this. And it looks like this. This is post-fight. So from all different flavors, the commentary was not making sense for what I've seen. The guy's in survival mode, but your face looks like at the end of the fight, it looks like he's been in a meat grinder, right? This doesn't make sense to the king ego. That doesn't look like someone who's merely not trying to win and giving away the fight and running and all this stuff that they were saying and Valdez is saying post-fight. So boxing has a lot of questions to answer, and I think this is an egregious look, and it's a very bad look when majority of the people can easily see it, but boxing wants to support and have certain fighters appear to be in charge or whatever and do well, and then meanwhile a guy gets a stain on his or her resume and they don't really deserve it. That's the sad part about boxing. You got legends like Eric Morales, and he's retweeting this. These are the total stats. Total punches. These are the total punches. You had Conceicao landed 103 out of 297. So he almost threw 300 and he landed 103 for 35% power shots. You had almost sliced in half, 64 landed, and he threw less, 209. So again, Compubox, sometimes it could be fickle in the sense of person could throw meaningless shots like pity pat shots and outwork you, and then one shot from the Wilder obliterates that, and your opponent's like, let's say your opponent's concussed and they're all their little shots, because you have no power, all those little shots, you know, don't match or equate to the severe 7 shots that the other Ruslan Provodnikov for Wilder or Maidana land. But if that's the case and his shots were meaningless, then why did his face look chewed up at the end of the fight? See, these are the things you guys have to, just Canelo putting a Mexico flag doesn't really solve this problem. Then you got a legend like Eric Morales. Look what he said. They give you doping and then they give you the fight. Now, if we have problems with the judges and the agencies, what a pity. So he's basically saying Robson Conceicao got robbed. And I seen someone in my comment section, they said just like his first name, they robbed son. Robson, that's what they did. They robbed son. You got outworked. You got all your stats doubled. Your face looked horrible at the end of the fight. You had the crowd advantage. You had the home court advantage. You had ESPN commentary advantage. And this is your performance. And most importantly, which was the most off-putting, they allowed you to fight with PEDs in your system. So this is a huge L for Canelo's gym. They said he won, but at the end of the day, you're going to be judged by your peers. You're going to be judged by the audience. And, you know, Canelo and Eddie Reynoso putting a Mexico flag doesn't answer any of these questions. Like they said on the telecast, Eddie Reynoso did not make himself available for questioning because of the severity of the PD issue. So this is a huge L. I'll continue to talk about this on my channel. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. But this it's not really explained. Just merely calling him a runner is not going to cut it. Peace. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We work it.